They told you peace was soft. They told you to be quiet, gentle, agreeable. But what if everything you were taught about peace was wrong? What if peace isn't the absence of conflict, but the presence of power? What if peace belongs not to the passive, but to those who've walked through fire and no longer flinch? This is the paradox. Real peace is not found in weakness. It's born in strength. The kind of strength that doesn't need to roar. The kind that sits still, because it knows what it's capable of. We begin with this idea. To be truly peaceful, you must learn to be dangerous. Not reckless, not violent. Dangerous. In the way a sword is sharp even while sheathed. There is a silent power in those who've faced themselves, who've met their own chaos and didn't run. The Taoist sage Lao Tzu said, if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to be peaceful, you must first become powerful. Not in domination, but in discipline. This is not a script about becoming hard. It's about becoming whole. And until you face your shadow, you will mistake peace for hiding. Let's begin. The peaceful warrior. A strange contradiction, or a secret truth. Nietzsche once warned, when you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. He spoke of strength, not as brutality but as necessity. He warned that over-domestication would destroy the soul, that in trying to make people harmless, we might also make them hollow. Now shift to another place, another time. In the ancient battlefield of the Edswand Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stands paralyzed, afraid to go to war. Not because he lacks courage, but because he is caught in doubt. Krishna speaks to him, not as a god commanding war, but as a guide illuminating truth. He tells Arjuna to act, from clarity, from duty, from stillness. This is not war for blood. It is war for balance, for dharma, for peace. Across cultures, from Stoic Rome to Zen monasteries, there emerges one figure again and again, the one who could destroy, but chooses not to, the one who walks armed, but seeks no battle. This is not weakness wrapped in virtue, it is strength, mastered. Danger is not the enemy of peace, it is its guardian, and only those who have touched danger, felt its weight, can truly put it down. Real peace is earned. There's a dangerous myth that hides in plain sight, the myth of the nice person. We're taught to be agreeable, to avoid confrontation, to shrink ourselves in the name of kindness. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Harmlessness does not make you good, it makes you fragile. When people fear their own power, they project it onto others. They obey, they follow, they remain silent in the face of wrong. The Milgram experiment showed us this. Ordinary people willing to harm others simply because they were told to, not out of cruelty, but out of obedience. History too shows us the cost of quiet compliance. Totalitarian regimes didn't rise because of evil leaders alone. They rose because good people were afraid to resist. This isn't peace, it's paralysis. The nice person avoids conflict but also avoids truth. They don't speak up, they don't stand up, and when pressure comes, they collapse. Peace built on denial is not peace. It's a mask. To be truly kind, truly compassionate, you must first be capable of standing your ground. You must be dangerous, capable of resisting, protecting, confronting, so that your gentleness means something. Otherwise, it's just fear in disguise. So ask yourself, are you peaceful or just afraid of your own power? Carl Jung said, "The man who is not dangerous is not a good man." A bold statement, but one born of deep psychological truth. You see, inside, each of us is a shadow, a wild, untamed part of the psyche that holds everything we fear, reject, and repress. Anger, jealousy, lust, rage, power. Most people run from it. They bury it, they pretend it's not there, but that only makes it stronger. The eye, shadow ignored becomes destructive, but the shadow faced becomes fuel. Jung called this process individuation, the path to wholeness. It's not about being perfect, it's about becoming complete. Peace is not found in suppression, it's found in integration. When you know your darkness, you don't fear it, you don't hide it. You learn how to carry it, like a warrior who sharpens his sword but never draws it in rage, or the monk who holds fire in his eyes but speaks only in whispers. The most peaceful souls are not those without darkness. They are those who've made peace with it. This is why Jung said that a harmless man is not a good man. A truly good man is dangerous, but chooses not to harm, and in that choice it lies real peace. Imagine someone with immense power, physical, mental, emotional, but they sit in stillness, unmoving, unshaken, not because they lack force, but because they've mastered it. This is the essence of peace through power. In Taoism, there is a concept called Wu Wei, action through non-action. The idea that the most effective force is the one that flows effortlessly without strain. The ancient samurai knew this. They trained endlessly not to fight, but to ensure that if they must, it would be with precision and honor, to possess force, but not be ruled by it, to act only when needed, and never from chaos. This isn't just about ancient warriors. Modern-day examples exist too. Surgeons in high-pressure rooms, leaders making decisions in crisis, people who face loss with grace. All of them dangerous in their own way because they hold calm in chaos. This is the hidden truth. The more dangerous you become, the more control you develop, the less likely you are to harm. You become still because you don't need to prove anything. You know your power, and that is real peace. There are two kinds of peace. One is earned, forged through fire, built from courage, discipline, and deep inner work. The other is fake, a mask of calm worn to hide fear, avoidance, and weakness, and you can feel the difference. One stands firm in storms, the other crumbles when challenged. Fake peace whispers, "Don't rock the boat." Real peace says, "I've survived the storm. I can handle the tide." This is where the journey turns inward. Look at your life. What kind of peace do you carry? Is it real or rehearsed? Have you faced your pain or hidden from it? Have you earned your stillness or built it on sand? We all crave peace, but few are willing to walk the path that leads to it. That path is not quiet. It is not easy. It demands that you face your demons, that you develop strength, that you become someone who is capable and chooses compassion anyway. This is the peace of the soul that's been tested, not the peace of comfort, but of clarity. So ask again, are you peaceful or just pretending? At the end of this path, there is a revelation. The most peaceful soul is the one who has nothing left to fear, not because they've avoided life's darkness, but because they've walked through it. They've met their own anger, they've danced with their own chaos, and instead of being consumed, they became conscious. This is the dangerous soul, not dangerous to others, but dangerous to ignorance, to illusion, to fear, because they are free. They cannot be manipulated, they cannot be broken, they cannot be swayed by fear or approval. They have seen what they're capable of, and they've chosen wisdom over ego. They don't need to dominate, they don't need to hide, they simply are whole, still, awake. This is real peace. The peace that comes not from shrinking, but from expanding into your full self. So the question is not, can you be peaceful? The question is, can you be dangerous enough to choose peace? They told you peace comes from being nice, from being quiet, from staying soft, but they were wrong. Peace does not come from weakness. Peace comes from power, from being capable of great destruction and choosing restraint. If you want peace, learn to be dangerous because no one respects the fragile. The paradox of peace and power. Why is it that the most peaceful people are often the most dangerous? Why do we feel calm around someone who could break us but never would? It's because real peace doesn't come from fear, it comes from choice, the ability to act, and the wisdom not to. Think of Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and Stoic philosopher. He commanded armies, controlled an empire, but inside, silence, discipline, restraint. The samurai walked with swords, trained to kill. But their true training was in honor, presence, stillness. They knew you don't get peace by being harmless. You get peace by having the power to end the chaos and choosing not to. You can't walk away from a fight. You're too weak to win. That's not peace. That's fear pretending to be virtue. True peace begins the moment you realize you could destroy everything in front of you. But instead you master yourself. Somewhere along the way, we were taught to be soft. That kindness means silence, that goodness means obedience, that to be strong is to be dangerous, and to be dangerous is to be evil. But that's a lie. We've been conditioned to believe that submission is moral, that to suppress our anger, our ambition, our truth makes us better people. But what it really does is make us easier to control. Friedrich Nietzsche warned of this. He called it slave morality, the rewriting of weakness as goodness. It doesn't elevate the soul, it sedates it. We live in a world that praises softness, while silently depending on others to protect it. They told you to never raise your voice, never feel your rage, never say no. And now, you wonder why you feel anxious, small, lost. Here's the truth. Peace without